Sacred economy, money as spirit in motion. A long-form transmission weaving transpersonal and humanistic psychology, quantum NLP, biodecoding, mind power, and Christic consciousness into a living field of ethical prosperity. Debuscarandia. Quantum opening. Prosperity moves as a wise river that seeks clean channels and ready hands. Money breathes like a living ally when it meets inner order, ethical beauty, and purposes that nourish life. Matter remembers its nature as light when the gaze turns impeccable and the word plants coherence. Body, soul, and world agree to a new covenant where exchange becomes ceremony, abundance becomes practice, and receiving becomes luminous humility. The nervous system loosens its armor, the breath regains music, and attention begins to count what truly counts. The field around you reorganizes, as if a hidden conductor had lifted the baton and invited every instrument to tune to service and joy. Section 1. Deep Gaze. The living myth of prosperity. True wealth grows as an inner garden. Values are seeds. Attention is water. Truth is light. Body is soil. The garden flourishes when the keeper walks with three staffs held upright: dignity, discernment, and devotion. Archetypes rise on the mythic stage and accompany the pact with abundance. The sovereign deciles holds the frequency of conscious choosing and declares a clear yes that honors sacred limits. The artisan translates inspiration into craft and loves process as much as results. The weaver listens to networks and alliances and knows that every exchange leaves a trace in the field. The threshold guardian protects the essential, blesses the correct no, so the true yes preserves purity. The star child remembers creative innocence that makes effort light and duty pleasant. The soul's journey crosses 4 stations of prosperity. 1. Recognition of gifts and wounds in the money story. 2. Reconciliation with the ancestral line that worked, feared, negotiated, or endured. 3. Reconfiguration of habits, beliefs, and energetic agreements. 4. Surrender with agency to an economy of effective love that can be felt and measured. Prosperity made whole neither shouts nor apologizes. It moves as a deep river that knows its course, caresses banks, and offers life to what it touches. Matter celebrates when spirit organizes. Spirit rests when matter responds. Section 2. Scientific and Psychological Foundations. Humanistic Psychology. A person prospers when aligned with intrinsic values, authenticity, and unconditional self-acceptance. Self-actualization does not shrink to economic outcomes, though it includes them. Congruence becomes the most reliable long-term insurance. Creativity and responsibility generate a steady engine of self-esteem. Transpersonal psychology. Identity expands beyond biography to include meaning, purpose, and cosmic belonging. Prosperity emerges as energy that condenses into money, opportunity, relationships, and time. States of expanded consciousness allow maps of scarcity to be observed without fusion, invite luminous archetypes, and open channels of synchronicity. Neuroscience and mind power. Neuroplasticity answers to meaningful repetition, congruent emotion, and sustained attention. Anticipatory visualization recruits circuits similar to real execution, priming behaviors that consolidate results. The polyvagal lens highlights that physiological safety unlocks learning, creativity, and focus. A regulated system negotiates better, reads subtle signals, and modulates risk with precision. Behavioral economics. Biases such as loss aversion, hyperbolic discounting, and anchoring influence financial choices. Conscious practice introduces pauses, simple rules, and check-in rituals that reduce impulsivity. Well-designed environments facilitate prosperous choices, separate accounts, automation, visible metrics, and limits framed as guardians rather than punishers. Ethics of exchange. Healthy wealth integrates 3 axes: justice, price aligned to value and context; beauty, aesthetic care that breathes respect; and truth, honest communication of promises and limits. When one axis distorts, the field responds with friction, sabotage, or energetic leakage. Ethics is not a decorative frame. Ethics is the architecture of durability. Section 3. Biodecoding applied. The body as a map of abundance. The body translates money emotions into posture, tension, and rhythm. This lens never replaces medical care and can elegantly complement it by offering routes of meaning and release. Symbolic correspondences offered as contemplative maps. Lumbar and sacral zone. Support and basic security. Persistent pain or fatigue often signal stories of effort without recognition or fear of not carrying responsibilities. Path of release, warm salt baths, affirmations of support, simple visible contingency plans, and clear delegation rituals. Kidneys, filtration of fear and decision. Tension appears when life feels like constant economic threat. Path of release, conscious hydration, micropauses of safety, rereading risk with concrete numbers rather than catastrophic images. Liver, processing anger around economic injustice or violated boundaries. Path of release, express emotion through movement or art, review pricing, renegotiate agreements from clarity rather than resentment. Throat, requests, offers, and limits. Tightness emerges when the economic voice hides. Path of release, daily practice of value statements, reading proposals aloud, one breath before any quote or invoice. Hands, giving and receiving. Coldness or rigidity suggests blocked flow. Path of release, micro acts of conscious generosity and relaxed receiving without excessive justification. Four-step bridge of somatic healing. 1. Name, the sensation linked to a financial scene. 2. Thank the protective function of the symptom. 3. Reframe, meaning fear into prudence, anger into justice, silence into clear request. 4. Seal, with a gesture hand on low back and 3 breaths for support, hand on throat, and 3 affirmations for voice, open hands, and 3 seconds of receptive stillness for flow. The body validates the new narrative with fine signals, yawns, sighs, warmth, shivers, moist eyes, softer jaw. Regulation is evidence of truth incarnated. Section 4. Quantum NLP Tools, Reprogramming and Prosperous Anchors. 4.1 Root Belief Inventory. Procedure. Write 3 spontaneous sentences about money, work, and receiving. Note the likely origin, family story, cultural myth, or critical experience. Ask the body through quiet sensing whether each phrase expands or contracts. Reprogramming. Turn each belief into a core voluntary present agreement. From money demands blood to my prosperity honors rest, art, cooperation, and wise pricing. From charging is selfish to charging with truth funds, service that lasts and deepens. Anchor. Touch thumb to index through the new phrase. Exhale slowly. Feel the sternum soften. 4.2 Submodalities of value. Place your service as an image in front of you. Increase brightness, clarity, and proximity until clean dignity appears. Dim and distance images of debt or shame until they fade into soft background. Seal with gesture, right hand over heart, left over navel, 3 coherent breaths. 4.3 Timeline of Financial Covenants. Rise above your timeline and locate key scenes: first sale, first non-payment, first rejection, first generous mentor. Deliver resources to the past self: safety, voice, guidance. Watch the scene update and feel the present gain space. Mark a public milestone: 90 days ahead new price letter, automated savings, product launch, debt repayment ritual. 4.4 Compassionate Offer Script. Sentence 1. This is what I offer, and the people it serves with strongest potency. Sentence 2. This is the observable result and the lived experience. Sentence 3. This is the ethical frame: what is included, what is not, what is still in development. The sentence 4. This is the price, formats, and timelines. Sentence 5. This is the first step if it resonates. Repeat aloud 3 times daily for 7 days. Adjust with the body as compass. Disgusting. 4.5 The 555 Protocol for Focus and Execution. 5 minutes. Brain dump of pending tasks. 5 minutes. Of prioritization using 3 criteria: impact, energy, and time. 5 minutes. Of immediate action on the task with the highest impact per minute. The brain associates prosperity with movement and keeps opening the gate for momentum. 4.6 Boundary script for sacred limits. Inner sentence. My time and attention are sovereign resources that serve love with structure. External sentence. Thank you for thinking of me. This request would exceed my available bandwidth. I can offer this alternative or these timelines. Anchor. Middle finger to thumb as you breathe out and feel the spine lengthen by 1 millimeter. 4.7 The revenue as ritual frame. Choose 2 weekly money rituals, a Friday reconciliation with numbers and a Sunday gratitude ledger. Define a micro tithe of time or funds toward the value you protect: art, ecology, community elders. Track a single KPI aligned with soul net margin, hours of deep work, repeat clients at 90 days, refunds resolved with grace. Write a monthly letter of integrity that states what you promised, what you delivered, where repair is needed, and one beauty upgrade for the client journey. Varandarisi 4.8 Quantum affirmations with somatic signatures. I welcome compensation that reflects value and sustains service without self-abandonment. My nervous system is a sanctuary where wise risk becomes creative play. Money circulates through my life as consecrated oxygen for shared purpose. Signature. Stand tall, inhale 4, hold 2, exhale 6, whisper the phrase while seeing it plant itself in real calendars and real bank lines. 4.9 The Offer Refinement Lab. Record yourself reading your offer. Listen for words that apologize or inflate. Replace apology with clarity and hype with evidence. Add one sentence of beauty, a detail, a courtesy, a small ceremonial touch that elevates the exchange. Naras, Section 5. Spiritual Perspective and Christic Consciousness. Money serves life when heart intelligence governs. Christic consciousness arrives as radical inclusion, sober compassion, and restorative justice. It transforms scarcity theater into stewardship art. The Buddha's wisdom of interdependence melts rigid grasping, and embodiment practices ground generosity in physiology rather than fantasy. Arcturian blueprints whisper coherence, thought hygiene, geometry of decision, and clean agreements. Pleiadian currents infuse joy, creativity, and relational prosperity. Andromedan mentorship brings long-range vision and fidelity to cosmic law. Seraphic fire descends as vertical clarity that does not argue with confusion, but illuminates it into new work. All streams converge in the heart as a living temple. The mantra of this temple carries 3 pillars: sovereignty, service, and beauty. Sovereignty means inner government with compassion. Service means value delivered with humility and measurement. Beauty means forms that elevate dignity in every step of the journey. Under this triad, money becomes a loyal messenger rather than a noisy master. Section 6. Integrative Ritual. The 4 Altars of Reciprocity. Purpose. Integrate mind, body, and spirit while tuning prosperity to ethics and love. Frequency. Daily for 21 days, or as a 40-day devotion. Duration, 20 to 25 minutes. Altar of earth, a small stone, a coin, and a piece of bread or fruit. Stand with soft knees, breathe down to the soles. Decree 3 times, I am held, I am resourced, I am entrusted with care. Touch the stone to your low back and feel support. Place the coin on the altar as a symbol of clean earning. Share the bread later with another being. Altar of breath, a white candle and a simple incense or essential oil. Hand on heart and hand on navel for 6 coherent breaths. Speak the 3 vows. I choose presence over performance, clarity over drama, generosity without self-abandonment. Light the candle and see a gentle sun extend 2 meters around you. Altar of water, a bowl of water resting on a small drawing of a flower of life or Merkaba. Lift the bowl to your forehead and imagine starlight raining into it. Anoint brow, throat, and heart with 3 droplets, sealing insight, voice, and love. Whisper the seed mantra slowly. Arcatura lumen. Altar of words, journal and pen. Write one sentence intention, one micro action under 2 minutes, and one boundary you will honor today. Close with a gratitude ledger of 3 lines: value received, value offered, value still incubating. Weekly expansion. One singing session of 10 minutes, addressed to your future self. One letter of amends or celebration for an ancestor or mentor. One generosity ritual with no expectation of return. Flow invites flow. But high vibration closing. Master phrase. Prosperity becomes inevitable where truth, beauty, and justice keep each other company. 24-hour quantum challenge. Express one compassionate boundary in a single sentence. Deliver one small act of value that someone can feel and measure. Record both actions in a ledger titled Evidence of Alignment. Activation code. Rest one palm on the chest and one on the navel and sound. Canare lumina solaris anima, Elion. Feel crown open like dawn, throat ring like a clear bell, and heart widen as a quiet sun. Star affirmation. I move as love with a spine. I prosper as truth with a smile. I receive as a river that gives life to its banks. Con amor, Andrew.